Well, here's an interesting situation this morning. You can see this nice 120-foot wide pass along the east edge of this field that I thought was maybe spray drift, but the edge is way too sharp. So it looks like neighbor probably went in here and sprayed opening rounds on this guy's canola field. And the rest of the canola field looks great. This side looks like crap. There is plants here. There is some new emergence, but not looking particularly healthy. So we'll have to find out what got sprayed and what we can do about it. Might have to reseed this patch with barley. Well, here's the field up by Barron's. It has such bad kochia resistance, and we did manage to kill quite a few. There's a lot of dead skeletons here and there. We definitely got, you know, probably 95% control, but this is probably one of the worst patches in the field here, and you can see there's still a fair bit of green. So this is going to get disked. Well, here's a nice field of 45 M35 that's growing pretty rapidly. This just got its in-crop roundup just a couple days ago, and overall looking really good. We're getting, you know, pretty close to what we'd say, you know, full cabbage staging in this field here. Should grow really rapidly in the next week or two and start bolting within another week to 2 weeks. But looking very good, other than a little bit of wind damage on the leaves. Speaking of wind, you might notice there's less wind noise in this week's video because I finally got a foam cover for my camera that covers all 3 microphones on it. So should be much better audio quality from here on out. Just found some drift damage in some peas. You can see ahead of me that patch of lighter colored peas which goes out into the field towards the west. And right here, the peas look beautiful and healthy because they were sheltered by a windbreak. So that to me is definitely looking like we got a little bit of drift out there. Pretty unusual, you see it drifting in from the east, but definitely narrows down who the culprit could have been. So here's our peas. These are some of the bigger peas. They got yellow tops. So we're seeing some really curly tendrils on a few of these with kinking. Doesn't quite look normal. So I'm thinking this is probably a group 4 product. Hard to say until I start making phone calls, but newer growth, turning yellow, bleaching, and some twisting and curling. Sounds like a group 4 to me. And just over here, you can see we had some smaller plants here, and they are really showing it, swollen, twisted, and these really small ones are pretty much toast. Alright, well, a couple hours later, this drift problem over by Nobleford has been solved. So it turns out the neighbor's custom applicator sprayed Infinity 120 feet wide on both sides of the field. So it has now been reseeded to barley because it just wasn't worth having canola at 3 weeks difference maturity in the same field. So it'll just be barley, and it'll be cut for feed as needed. Starting to find a little bit of leaf rust. This is stripe rust starting to form in some of the winter wheat. This is by Nobleford, so keep your eyes open for this. It is around. You got to kind of dig for it a bit, but I am finding it in there. All right, well, here's a winter wheat field that has a fair bit of leaf disease in here. We got tan spot, we got septoria, there's a little bit of blotch in here, and it's getting pretty dirty down on those lower leaves. And there's also a little bit of rust in a spot here or two. So this winter wheat is now in head emergence, which kind of rules out a strobilurine fungicide. So we got to come in here with something that's more designed for fusarium timing. So that means we're going to be stuck with something like a Prosaro or a Carumba or Miravis Ace as more of your premium fungicides. Or we can come in with something like Folicure, or new from Adama this year is the Orias, which is Adama's version of Folicure. So being that this is winter wheat and it is going to be going for feed, I'm going to be recommending the Folicure or the Orias in here. Well, here's semi-irrigated wheat near Fort McLeod area, and we got good head development in there. Nodes starting to rise up the stems, and flag leaves are just starting to emerge. We're not up in the boot yet, we still have a ways to go, but as you can see, crop is getting pretty tall, and so are the weeds. This has not got a herbicide yet, and when you start to see weeds this size and a crop this tall, it's getting pretty late. So for sure you're going to need you know, add a 2,4-D in if you can, depending on your chemistry, to try to help with canola of this size. And something like interlock to hopefully get you in between those rows and get those weeds covered. Well, the full rye by Colehurst is sure looking wonderful. It has at least doubled in size in the last week since I was here last. So you can see now we are in full flower and we're looking pretty good. Heads are a decent size. We've developed well. And they have massively outgrown the weeds at this point. So all these little weeds that are way down here are pretty much hopelessly outgrown. So we will see how things develop. As far as disease goes, it's still looking pretty clean. We've got a little bit of wind damage on some of the leaves here and there, but like this one here. Overall though, looking pretty good. Here's a barley field by Colehurst, and as you can see, we got a whole schwack of oats in here, and these did get sprayed about 2 weeks ago with Avenza, and overall control on the oats looks good. However, there's a whole new generation coming, so we're gonna have to hit it again. The barley is still small enough, and actually we're starting to see some net blotch on the barley. So this is a good chance to come in with something like Tilt or Bumper, which is effective in barley on net blotch as well. Well, I'm down by McGrath today, and there's been a couple inches of rain here this week, and it is wet and soggy. Good thing I've got a quad I can use here, because there's no way I could even get down these dirt roads to get to the fields in the truck right now. Hell, I can barely do it on the quad. But their winter wheat is looking pretty good, but after finding rust earlier this week, I'm a little concerned, so I'm gonna have to go through and see if I can find some rust. Well, so far I still haven't found any rust down here, but this may not show up too terribly well on this camera, but right here you can see a faint little line on this leaf, and that I am worried it may be really early stage rust before you see the pustules develop. And you can see it right here as well. Just a little off color, this stripe. So I mean, it could be septoria or something too, but I am worried that that might be really early stage rust. But regardless, anyways, we're gonna have to come in here and spray this, because it's just full of septoria and tan spot up on the penultimate leaves. The flag leaves are still clean at the moment, but you know, we're waiting for the flag leaf to be fully emerged. A lot of it is just barely poking out, so we're gonna have to wait, you know, the better part of a week and probably hit this with a really good fungicide anyway. So even if it does develop into rust, we will be able to take care of it. Here you can see some more. I'm back in that canola field by Lethbridge that got seeded with a precision planter and then harrowed, and as you can see, we have some staging issues in this field. We have everything from 4-leaf to basically first blooms. So going to be a little bit of a problem for staging fungicides in here, as well as herbicides. I was hoping to be able to do another application of Liberty in here early this week, but the most advanced plants just kind of got away on us here. So we'll just have to be happy with what we got here, and we might be as little as a week away from early fungicide timing on the most advanced plants here already. Well, here's my first seeded barley field by Lethbridge, and as you can see, it's doing really well. It's kind of, a lot of it is in between flag leaf and boot stage, so even a couple have awns coming out. This one's just kind of coming into boot stage here. The head is technically still below the penultimate. Overall, fairly clean. There's a little bit of net blotch here and there, and this is about as late timing as you'd want to go for a flag leaf style herbicide. Something like Triva Pro would be a really good fit in this field, but you can't really spray it after you have on emergence, so this would have to be pretty quick, pretty much right away, to protect a crop like this. Here by Lethbridge in a dryland corner, and there's actually some little nymph grasshoppers jumping around. Let's see if I caught that guy. Oh, I did. So still really small, but there is some around, even with all the rain we've had. Starting to find these guys, so keep your eyes open for these guys. Oh, here's some more. Oh, there's a few of them around here. Keep your eyes open for these guys. Even though as wet as we've been, they are out here. There's another one. Hopefully we don't have problems again like we did last year, but if we do, Coragen is going to be your best friend. It's going to give you 2 to 3 weeks residual control once you spray that on the edges of your field. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.